Going to be reacting to how grocery stores scam you. So let's begin the video now. Okay, so as you can see right now, we have the video how grocery stores scam you, which is like a huge clickbaity thumbnail and title. So I definitely have to check this video out. So let's go ahead and play this video now.
Stores are not necessarily in the food business. They're in the real estate business. Today, we're going to talk about all the different tricks that they use to get you to buy things that you never intended on buying. I don't know if you've been to a grocery store lately, but there's a lot of junk food in those stores. It's becoming more difficult to find real food. 83%
Yeah, that's definitely true. I have noticed these things over the years. So let's continue.
of all of the calories in a grocery store have ultra processed food ingredients. You're being majorly manipulated when you go to the grocery store. So many people go to the grocery store with a certain plan, a little list that they're going to buy certain things, but they end up getting a lot of additional things. Well, I'm going to talk about why. Grocery stores, they don't really make as much profit as you think. It's like 1 to 3% net profit, which is on the low side. Most of that money is not from the markup on the products. Between 50 and 75% of their profit is from real estate. It's called slotting fees. Food companies or brands
Oh.
spend.
Well, honestly, right off the bat, it's really similar to how McDonald's runs. People think it's a restaurant business, but on the other hand, it's actually more of a real estate company. So I think this is in many ways similar to that. So cool.
This amount of money on getting certain locations in that grocery store. So one product could spend between 10,000 to 100,000 up to $1 million to get just one product on a certain shelf right in front of your eyeballs. There's actually a name for it. It's called the golden zone.
Oh, interesting. Wow. So I'd imagine, for example, as a YouTuber, what if you're, KSI or Logan Paul? This is kind of the thing that you had to go through. I'm sure it must have been really difficult for them, but they managed to find a way to put Prime in the eyes of many people around the world for sure.
Because they can sell 8 times more product than if they're on a lower shelf. So that's where the majority
Probably.
of grocery stores make their money. So they're really into the real estate business. There's like 40,000 different products in a grocery store. And
Oh.
one of the goals is to put you in front of as many of those products as possible. So there's all sorts of tricks to get you to do that. One thing is that they kind of tailor make things to people that are right-handed, which is basically 80% of people. So when you walk in the store, the orientation of the store is really counterclockwise because the people that are right-handed will be also looking to the right and also seeing the products on the opposite side. Stores oftentimes
Very true. Whoa, I never really thought of it that way. That's definitely interesting to hear. That's crazy.
use smell, and these are artificial smells that are
Yeah.
generated to simulate fresh bread baking in the oven. They also found that if they pump out the smell of citrus, they can increase certain sales of certain products by 23%. They even use different types of texture on the flooring to slow you down in certain areas of the store that have a higher margin. So you'll spend more time with your eyeballs looking at certain things. They will
Oh.
definitely put high price items next to slightly lower price.
Like I know casinos do specific things like no windows, crazy designs, no harsh corners and things like this, but I had no idea grocery stores had these type of strategies too as well. Super interesting to hear. Mad fascinating for sure.
Price items that have good margins to get you to buy those. They use certain colors for different things. Like blue, for example, increases the trust building, red, which is a sale, and then you
Oh.
have green, which will give you the sense that it's fresh. Also, they use social proof, like bestseller, or this product is our customer's favorite product. Those little things alone will increase the chance of you buying it by 19%. Sometimes they'll put highly demanded discount products way in the back, so you have to walk through all of the store to be able to get them. And of course, the chances of you buying other products are pretty high. There are so many people that go in a grocery store that buy things that they never planned on buying. They also found
This is fact. Fact on fact on fact. And this fact enhances completely when you go to Costco. You gotta agree with me on this one. If you know, you know.
that in the wine section, if they put French music, people will buy more wine, like 15% more wine. Sometimes they'll actually take products off the shelf to create scarcity of certain products to actually get those sold. Because if you think about it, if you're walking down the aisle and you just see like one product left and there's nothing else, like, I better get that before someone else gets it. Scarcity works.
True.
I mean, think about the snowstorms that they have, right? The day before a snowstorm, everyone's in the grocery store and they're just pretty much buying everything out because they think, oh my gosh, if it snows, I won't get to the grocery store. I'm going to die. I'm going to starve to death. And that never happens. But the primary real estate for the entire grocery store is in the cereal section. That's the area where they make the most profits, like 45% profit. It's
Oh.
highly competitive, and a brand could spend up to $1 million to get slotted for a certain good location in that section. Now, of course, if that cereal is for children, which most of it is, the slotting fee would be most expensive at the children eye level. I remember when I was a kid, I would always want to go with my mother to the grocery store, and I would pick out the cereal with the best prize, right? And of course, it was just filled with sugar. Back then in the early 70s, we didn't have as much high fructose corn syrup, if any. I think it was just.
Yeah, definitely true for sure. Going to the grocery store, to the cereal section specifically, every cereal has sugar pretty much. There's like the rare chance that the cereal won't, but generally speaking, most cereals do. I like to eat a lot, definitely for sure, but nowadays I don't eat cereal as much.
Just cane sugar. But still, I consumed so much sugar growing up. It was crazy. I remember standing on top of the counter in the morning trying to find just sugar. And I would just basically have spoonfuls of sugar. I have certain genes that once I start, I cannot stop. Whereas my brothers and sister didn't do that. I had a problem. Of course, this went on all through college. I ate a tremendous amount of pasta, Doritos, Velveeta cheese, and highly processed meats. Now, another interesting thing that happens in the checkout line is for every second that a person has to wait before they get checked out, an impulse purchase is increased by 0.38%. 16% of all of the sales, the total sales of a grocery store is purchased in the front area. And that is the prime real estate for a brand.
Yeah, it can kind of make sense to all this because let's take Walmart for example. I think a lot of people, if you're not buying too many things from Walmart, you're gonna go to the self-checkout aisle. And when you make your way towards those automatic self-scanners, there's gonna be a lot of things that kind of tempt you and that perhaps you want to get, like a lot of candies, electronic items, chargers, etc., and so on and so forth. That you're most likely gonna grab. So I could definitely believe this being the case. Very interesting to hear for sure.
And they're paying no less than $1 million per product per year for that spot. 87% of those impulse buys are purchased 3 seconds before they see the checkout person. They also have
Interesting.
lost leaders. What's a lost leader? It's something that they break even on or even lose a little money on to get people in the store. And a real common lost leader is milk, which is in the back of the store. So it forces you to go to the grocery store, buy that milk, get a good price, and of course be exposed to a lot of other foods. And then you have another placement, which is called the end cap, which is at the end of the aisles. Oh my gosh, that real estate, for example, is very, very expensive as well. They also found if they price things at $3.99 versus rounding it up to the next number, they can increase sales by 24% more. Also, people that.
Yeah, it's definitely true. When I see something that has 99, it makes me believe that it's actually a lot cheaper. But in fact, just 1 cent up, it's actually that amount. And then that number psychologically is a lot more. And well, it actually is a lot more, but it's crazy how 99 can have such an effect on a lot of people. And it definitely works. I could see this being the case.
Pay with a credit card are more likely to buy more junk food than if they paid with cash. Thus, the location of the checkouts next to the candy section. I mean, you have to realize that all the candy and the processed foods have the highest margins. It's the most profitable for the store as well as the brand. 83% of all calories in the grocery store are ultra-processed calories, which is just mind-blowing.
Well, like to add, maybe that's the case in North America specifically, but who knows? Maybe in Asia or Europe it might be different. But I think a lot of people in this world have a sweet tooth and like to eat. It's an enjoyment thing, so I could see this being the case in a lot of places.
They really hunt and peck to find food in the grocery store. And I don't even consider ultra-processed food as real food. The sugar alone, as well as the starches, will create very similar addictions to actual drugs. So let me just shift gears now to label trickery, right? When you look at the label of this product right here, it says always organic, No artificial flavors or synthetic colors. What a beautiful label. I mean, these guys are literally pros at packaging. But if we look at the label, look at the total carbs. 78 grams of carbs with 42 grams of sugar. This product has wheat flour, cane sugar, invert cane syrup, palm oil, whole wheat flour, apples. Right after the apples comes cornstarch. This is the stuff that you use to iron wrinkled shirts. Then you got rice starch, dextrose, baking soda, vital wheat gluten, tapioca starch. See how much starch is in here? And so you can see they added all these different types of sugars so they can actually put them lower on the label. But if you look at this, look at the numbers. 104 grams of actual product, 78 grams is sugar and starch. And both of those are really sugar. When you eat this, you would get over 1,200 calories of just a lot of sugar, but it's just slightly better than the normal Pop-Tarts. You can't trust these labels when they say natural or organic. They're mainly distracting you from the sugar. And also some of these starches, like maltodextrin, which is highly processed, that's classified as a complex carbohydrate. So in your mind, you're like, oh, complex carbohydrates are healthy. No, not maltodextrin. The other thing I want to mention is sometimes this processed food is fortified with vitamins and minerals, right? You'll see that in cereal. Like that's some type of enhancement. No, it's not. All they're doing is they're giving you a little tiny bit of synthetic vitamins added back in so that way you won't create a major disease. You're not going to get your vitamins and minerals by consuming whole grains. They take the whole grain, they grind it into powder. It sits on the shelf for months before it ends up in your shopping cart. Well, do you think when they
Okay, literally all in all, if this isn't already a sign, just maybe stay away from the cereal. I know it's like a quick and easy access to breakfast or any meal is your pleasure, but yeah, it sounds like cereal is awful, apparently.
grind this grain, that over time, the exposure to oxygen and light might destroy the vitamins? Well, guess what? That's what happens. But this is why they enhance it or fortify it with synthetic vitamins, or at least a few. These ultra-processed calories are designed to achieve what's called a bliss point. That is the amazing explosion of flavor and taste and
The editing, though.
sensation when you have just the right amount of sugar, salt, and fat. And I want to just mention another thing about these ultra-processed foods. They're not composed of a lot of saturated fat. It's all unsaturated fat, as in the seed oils. As you can see, I'm sorry, the vegetable oils right here, right here. You see all these vegetables right here? Here's another way they trick you. They think, oh, wow, there's vegetables in here. No, there's not. So this is what you need to do. Do not go to the grocery store with your kids, especially if your kids are tired and hungry. Do not go to the grocery store if you are hungry or tired.
Definitely. I feel like you're more likely to make reckless spending decisions. So I think if you ever go to a grocery store, honestly, you should probably have a full stomach or you've eaten right before the grocery store shopping.
Go to the grocery store with your list and just don't buy anything else that's not on the list.
Easier
Because
said
when
than
you buy
done,
that
but
junk
yeah,
food,
that's probably a
you
good
then
idea.
have to say no to it every day, every night. But if you say no right in the grocery store, you only have to say no once. You should shop in the perimeter around the grocery
Really good point, actually. Yeah, I need to do that. I need to listen to that one.
store. Don't go in the middle part where all the junk food is. Realize when you go in a grocery store, you're walking into an area that has 83% of all the calories ultra processed foods.
Okay, dang, that's definitely eye-opening for sure. I think a lot of the facts that he provided are very interesting to hear and completely surprising because I've definitely learned a lot out of this video that is found on YouTube. So it does seem like grocery stores can kind of be a scam. You need to be really smart in your everyday grocery purchases or weekly grocery purchases and definitely make the right choices while you're there and be on a full stomach for sure. I guess try to avoid sugar or ultra-processed foods and such things. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. So be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and peace out.